Every exercise and technique used in the Ginger the Frog series and the musical theatre show have been scientifically researched. A toolbox is created for children from 3 to 7 years and beyond. If you're a parent, grandparent, teacher or caregiver, you'll know what to do to create emotional resilience within yourself as well as your kids. These mental and physical exercises not only help our kids, but remind us how to navigate through our own reactions to our kids' behaviour, which is the key to living creatively and problem solving. In every episode of Ginger the Frog, there's always a part in the story where we check in with ourselves, noticing how we feel without judgment. It's not always an easy thing to do when we're being triggered big time by siblings fighting or when we're totally exhausted. We're hardwired to judge and react from our past. Mindfulness and meditation are practices that help us see that a trigger, a stored emotional reaction, comes from a past wound that's been buried. Rather than being lost in the emotion, we're able to observe our mind. Think of yourself like an alien watching your human experience. Teaching kids to check in with their emotions without judging themselves harshly, just observing and understanding how they feel is priceless. Children have a better chance of moving through the emotion rather than storing the stress of the shame and guilt or whatever it was in their mind and body. A show of thumbs, up or down or sideways in the Ginger stories, takes the pressure away from articulating the emotion so that it comes from feeling the emotion. It's worth mentioning again that going through this process with our kids reminds us to be aware of our own emotions and reactions. Shame and guilt leads to a feeling of hopelessness and helplessness, and loading negative emotions onto a young child may create a quiet child, but this is a false sense of security. An anxious child has a very loud mind and no room to learn and embrace life. The bottom line is, if we're reacting and getting stressed because of our child's behaviour or anything else going on in our lives, we have work to do on ourselves. The good news is, the exercises in Ginger the Frog help everyone be aware of and process emotions. As we all know, accumulated, stored negative energy leads to anxiety and dysfunctional behaviour. We tend to ignore our issues and keep soldiering on until we fall in a heap and seek to be fixed. But being mindful and noticing when we're open or closed, stressed or happy early on, and knowing what to do is key. Making a variety of exercises a familiar part of everyday life for children as well as adults can only create a better environment for learning, cooperation and communication. I'm not saying it's easy to suddenly start doing things in a different way. Old habits can be hard to change, so if you fall off the wagon, just get back on again and have another go. Here's an overview of the exercises used in the Ginger the Frog digital stories. Number 1, tense and relax. We hold a lot of tension and stress in our bodies, and we humans need to be taught how to release it. Animals do this naturally and move on with their lives, but we tend to judge, analyse and store stressful events. The inability to let things go is exhausting. Tensing and relaxing different parts of our bodies loosens the stored stress and creates a mindful practice. We connect with our bodies more, noticing when something isn't right, and focusing on our bodies gets us out of our busy heads and helps us intentionally relax. Number 2, shake it. Shaking or therapeutic tremoring, created by Dr. David Berceli, is a great way to release stored stress and is fun for children to do to music. There's evidence to support the benefits for disease and PTSD. After knowing someone who healed a tumour in their stomach using a 45-minute daily shaking technique, I decided to study the benefits of shaking. We're all aware that vigorous movement is beneficial for children to help them release excess energy so they can settle. It also prepares them for mindfulness, helping them notice the inner workings of their body after vigorous exercise. Number 3, breathe. Deep, conscious breathing is another natural process we seem to have forgotten how to do, and yet is the single most important thing we need to teach and make a familiar practice for dealing with stress, energizing the body, relaxing the body and mind, and regulating the nervous system. When we're stressed or fearful, we tend to shallow breathe. When we breathe deeply and use our bellies properly, it can physically calm and ground a hysterical child, bringing them back into balance. Stress puts the autonomic nervous system into the sympathetic fight or flee mode, and deep breathing, especially with a longer out-breath, relaxes the vagus nerve, bringing the autonomic nervous system back to the parasympathetic rest and digest mode. The Just Breathe song showcases different breathing techniques. 1. Breathing to relax. In for 4, hold for 4, and out for 8. 2. Breathing to let go of anger, called breath of fire. 3. The Froggy Roar. We stick out our tongue as far as it goes. In for 2, out for 2. And this relaxes the whole jaw area where we hold a lot of stress. In episode 3 of the digital series, Ginger blows up an imaginary balloon using a much longer out-breath, which is very calming and a great stress release. Number 4, grounding. When Ginger grounds herself, she imagines tree roots extending from her feet into the ground. Psychologically, when there's people around us that knock us off balance, grounding and correct breathing helps us feel solid and able to hold strong. She breathes in and brings the energy up from the earth through her body, and as she breathes out, she imagines all this beautiful energy cascading around her. Nobel Prize winner Richard Feynman described an umbrella effect created when we earth. He claimed that grounding equalized the electronic potential between the body and the earth, so the body becomes an extension of the earth's magnetic field. This potential cancels, reduces, and pushes away electrical fields from the body. Grounding improves sleep, helps manage pain, and normalizes the stress response. The nervous system is an electrical system of the body and influences all these activities. An influx of negative electrons from the earth has been shown to calm the nervous system from flight, fright, flee to rest and digest. Number 5, balance. Ginger does the familiar yoga tree pose to bring her mind and body back to balance. Focusing on something in the distance and standing on one leg is a great way to get out of our busy minds, creating balanced body awareness and bringing us effortlessly into the present moment. The present moment is all there is and is the most powerful place to be, even though our minds constantly tell us to judge the present from our past experiences and worry about the future. Number 6, focus. This is a lovely exercise that creates open-hearted focus, ready to learn or for the guided mind exercises. Kids and adults love to look through the imaginary TV screen, then rub their hands super slowly and mindfully, getting faster and faster before placing their palms over their eyes and gently allowing their hands to glide down over their faces, coming to rest on their laps. The action of their hands over the face closes their eyes and encourages them to be still and go inward. Number 7, find your sweet spot. This is a mindfulness exercise. Kids are encouraged to sit upright, imagine a cord pulling their heads up to the sky, gently moving from side to side and front and back. They focus on balancing the bones of their spines, one on top of the other, so that all their muscles get a chance to relax, the skeletal system holding them upright. A comfortable upright position is more beneficial for meditation and creative visualization, and the body's life force energy flows freely up and down the spine. Number 8, heart-centered action and thinking. The HeartMath Institute's research has had a big influence on Ginger the Frog. The heart is about 100,000 times stronger electrically and up to 5,000 times stronger magnetically than the brain, according to their research. It's important to teach kids and remind ourselves to elevate our heart coherence. The heart has its own intrinsic nervous system, which can sense, feel, remember, and process information that's independent from the brain. It's continually emitting sounds, pressure waves, heat, electrical and electromagnetic signals in and from the body. Heart coherence is a measure of the pattern of the heart's rhythm. When the heart's rhythmic beating pattern is smooth and ordered, it's called a coherent rhythm. This rhythm synchronizes the brain, nervous system, the body's organs and glands, and they all dance in harmony to the heart's coherent rhythm. Our hearts can elevate our decisions and choices and communication to a much higher level of effectiveness. Number 9, reprogram the mind and creative visualization. Every week there's a different mind exercise to help reprogram the mind. These exercises are carefully crafted to deal with different issues and challenges that children have and are no more than about 5 minutes long. First, they encourage the body to relax, then the mind, and then go inward or home so kids can reprogram their minds, creating healthier neural pathways. Subsequent episodes use reprogramming to deal with fear, anger, anxiety, doing what's true for us, learning a new skill, and connecting and acting from our hearts. Each one appropriate for each week's theme. The benefits of meditation and creative visualization are huge and well documented. Establishing an inward practice that gets us to understand that we're not our mind, and our mind is something to use and not to rule our lives, is the basis of conscious living. The Dalai Lama says if all children from the age of 8 learnt to meditate, we would have world peace in 1 generation. I think start them earlier and create a healthy emotional resilience. My research showed that this is easily achieved by young kids when meditation is embedded in stories, accompanied by physical exercises to help the initial relaxation and mindful phase. Inner stillness allows our heart, mind, and emotions to experience time out from competing with each other, feeling inferior, holding on to past trauma and fear of the future, so they can enjoy some casual peace together. Knowing how to dissolve stress in the body, tensing and relaxing and shaking out, correct breathing, knowing when to use the different types of breath, grounding, knowing how to focus, using mindfulness and meditation and creative visualization are all embedded in the Ginger the Frog stories and help kids, parents and caregivers live a happier, healthier and more peaceful existence. It's worth mentioning again, we live in our minds, and being conscious of where we live and spend most of our time, and observing, not judging, but habitually using practices that remind us of this, plus exercises that bring us back into balance, are crucial for healthy minds and bodies. 35 years of my own practice and taking full responsibility for everything I create and feel and project onto the world is the driving force of Ginger the Frog. Fostering these techniques in early childhood, I believe, will create a generation of responsible, powerful individuals full of creativity, empathy, and an ability to collaborate peacefully. This, I think you'll agree, is needed more than ever in our current world climate.